But yes, the Forever Story. And man, I think this was. I listened to like the first couple songs on the Khaled, and then I quickly moved to this album. I think last night I tried to listen to a little bit of The Alchemist and Rock Marciano. It was kind of slow or whatever, but when I woke up this morning, this was the first album I put on. And I know earlier, I think it was not earlier, but Wednesday, I was talking about the fact that yeah, I wasn't totally sold on JID as far as like, putting music out, but I thought he was a dope lyricist. This album is awesome. This album was fresh for me. This album, production wise, it gave us everything that we loved about the Earth Gang album, but I felt like it had way more quotables in it. And I think that JID held his own on every record. I think he's made people step up on the record. I like Wayne's appearance. 21 Savage really had to step up on that. I don't think I've ever heard 21 rap that rapid, because 21 goes really slow with his flow, right? And JID made pretty much everybody step up. I love the record. And I think that you said you felt like it starts off slow.
It does. I mean,
I
at least
don't
in my
think
opinion.
so.
Okay,
I
so
think
let's move on.
you like Dance Now, and Dance Now is like number 3 on there.
Well, here's what I want to tell you. So, can I tell you what my first real note was after listening to the first two songs?
What's that?
The first two songs were uneventful for me.
But you already said you like Dance Now though,
Hold on. Hold on.
because the
The
first
intro was
song is the
Galaxy, right?
intro.
Hold on. I'm not a big fan on the intro.
Well, the intro
I don't
isn't
like the
anything.
intro. Galaxy? I
Yeah.
don't like Galaxy.
Okay.
That's not a dope intro.
Okay.
It's not. You feel what I'm saying? And I actually thought about you and how you talked about the start to the Black Thought album, and I'm like, well, what makes this better?
Well, we're going to definitely go over that on the Patreon, because when we do our show Monday, I want to play this from the first couple of songs, because I totally disagree with that stance.
Right.
Esquire with the
So
super
here's
chat.
what-
Let me get through these super
so
chats
here's-
real quick and we can get into it, because
Right.
I don't want these to
Right.
pile up on us again. Esquire
Right.
says, before we move on to the rest of Khaled's LP, I want to give a birthday shout out to Big Crit. Super underrated catalog, mixtapes included from the SIP. Love, yeah. Big Crit is super underrated. He's put in the work. I think that his thing was a timing thing too, because I feel like if he was doing the mixtapes at the rate he was doing over the last 5 years, he would be held even higher. Billy Bars of the Super Chat says the Quran says that Jesus is the Word of God and the Spirit of God. Healed the dead and he spoke as a baby. Basically says Jesus is God. Nothing about Jesus is acknowledged, but he's a prophet. Let me go to the last super chat. I think I just seen another one. Oh yeah, Clayton is asleep. Shout out to Clayton. He says, "Yo, what's good, Mike and Coop?" Dropping in to say what's up. Hope you're both well. Y'all talk on that drink champs yet? And JID is carving out his niche. I only skipped around Khaled. Kiss did his job. Yes, he did. Okay,
Hold on.
go ahead.
And I want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I respect all the prophets.
Oh man, we
I'm a
can't go back.
No.
Yeah.
I just know because he went to the super chat. No, I do. No. I just want to say that in closing. I respect all the prophets. I acknowledge all the prophets. Like I acknowledge the prophets of other faiths
Mm-hmm.
because it's not fair to ask for acknowledgement out of your faith while not acknowledging others.
Straight
It's
up.
not. It's not fair to skip over it and ask for acknowledgement. So it's
Right.
like it has to be even across the board. So I acknowledge Muhammad as a prophet, even though my personal feelings and beliefs about him based on what I read, not a fan. Not a fan at all. Not even a little bit, Mike. And even less of a fan of his successor. Okay? But I'm read on these matters and I respect the gangster. All right.
All right. Now you said that you thought this album started off slow. Now you
I did. I don't like
So
Galaxy
Radar.
as an intro. I don't like Radar as a start off to this album. I don't. I just don't. Because here's the thing about it. Everything after it is so much better.
I think Radar
Like-
was one of those songs to kind of set it off and show his mic skills, right? I think
We
Radar
already
is
know that
very
though, Mike. We already know that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, the mic skills are there. That's part of why this buzz is there. So it's like we didn't need that. We didn't need Galaxy or Radar. That's what I'm saying.
I hate to compare, right? But I know everybody's putting that Kendrick thing in the air, right? I feel like Radar was probably like DNA. Like I need to start off like this.
It's
No, but
not
you know what
that.
I mean. In this tone, I need to start off with this type of
Okay.
energy. You know what I'm saying? Structurally, because when we talk about the way this album's put together, it's very Kendrick in that light to me. More so, Good
It
Kid, Mad
is.
City.
It is very good. That's some of my notes. This plays kind of good kid, Mad City like, and maybe I took this personally, and I said this, and this is a part of me that was raised on the east side of Atlanta when I lived down here. Of all the sides of town that I've ever been on, the east side appeared to be the most family oriented, and I was glad that I spent my time in Atlanta mostly over there. It is the most family oriented. Zone 6 is the most family oriented zone of all the zones, in my opinion. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my opinion. But it's also the zone that I lived in the most. And so when I hear his love for his family and how it gets contextualized different ways throughout the album, well, it's honest and it's truthful and it's unique. Like if you're from the east side, you are probably in love with this shit because it speaks to who you are and how you feel about your family. Like, I want to get to it. And here's why I don't like the first two songs. When I got to the third song, which was the single, or I guess like Dance Now is the second song, because Galaxy's the intro. And this is exactly what I wrote. I said, that's when I realized, because we had already heard surround sound, I was like, JID's singles feel plain when you get into the album. It's not seamless. That was one of my knocks for album of the year, because it is, when you listen to this album from beginning to end, it is very obvious that Dance Now and surround sound were made to be singles. Am I wrong about that?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
So,
I think that's very
it's not seamless the way No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine and Strangers are seamless in the play. It's like, oh, that's the single?
Well,
okay.
I disagree with that part, because I do feel like Aquamarine sticks out like a sore thumb.
That's just different, Mike. That's the song of the year, probably. It's different. It's the song of the year right now.
It's a great song.
I think we're 3/4 of the way into the year, and it's the song of the year. And so if you're saying like, well, Aquamarine is different, well, it's different from about, every song out here except for about another 2 or 3 songs close to it, But I get what you were saying. These are some of my early critiques.
We have similar critiques of your critiques about this album are like my critiques of the Black Thought album. Right.
Which means it is a contender, because I'm having to critique. And that's one of the things that I wanted to point out. This album was strong enough that after I heard, how about this? This was a song that made me realize I needed to go back and take my notes on what I was thinking about the first 2 records. Because when I heard Crack Sandwich, Mike, I said,
that's where it really starts. I feel
this is where the album really starts. I said, this song is brilliant.
It is
beautiful and banging.
You know what?
It's brilliant, beautiful, and it's banging.
I understand where you're coming from, and Crack Sandwich should have started.
Crack Sandwich a level up from those.
It should have probably started the album off.
It should have started this album. How about this? You could have went into Galaxy, into Crack Sandwich, and kept those other 2 records.
Because if we look at
Galaxy
this,
would have sounded better.
You and I are baseball fans. We look at this like a baseball lineup. He has Crack Sandwich out here batting cleanup.
Right.
And it
Crack
might should have.
Yeah,
it might should have been the leadoff.
Crack Sandwich is the leadoff single. Yeah. That's your Ricky Henderson.
Yeah. That should have been the leadoff on the lineup.
That's your Deion Sanders. That's your Otis Nixon. Your Marquise Grissom for the ATL. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That. So I want
what
you
did
to
you
kind of
think about?
Quick, I know I've been talking for a minute about the album. I want you to kind of like wax your shit, because how about this? If I was probably rating this right now, I would probably have it 4, 5, 6, or 7. I think you have it 1, 2, or 3. And so that's where our difference is. So the difference isn't far, but I'm going to give you my critiques. And the first critiques that I have is that the singles feel planned, and that intro and that first song are not indicative of what's about to go down. Because when I hear Crack Sandwich, I'm like, so you could have kept that first song.
Well, this is me vouching for it to possibly be album of the year, right? I think that the versatility, I think that the storytelling, like the versatility, let me expound upon that. Versatility on the production end, on the creative end, on a lyrical end. Even if we talk about the features, I like Yassine Bey's feature on there as well. The way this album was put together, from beginning to end, the stories he's telling. I think he has so many dope, possibly great verses on here. You get lost in it. You know what? My first takeaway from this album was the fact that, yo, this is a lot to take in a matter of hours before we got to do a show about it. I really want to sit on this album too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that dense, and it has a lot going on in it, and I could tell that it's great from the first listen. I feel like these songs are gonna have legs. I feel like it has replay value. Cody Blue 31, great record. And that's him singing on there too, right?
Okay, so hold on.
I mean,
hold on.
The versatility is out of here. If the Source magazine was still around, and you know, I got some things planned as far as us as a magazine and all those things, this would have some quotables in it. This would have some hip-hop quotables in it.
When I think of quotables, and maybe this is the part where the Source has my mind like on lock, it's like, well, I think AZ Life's a Bitch. I think Nas Verbal Intercourse. I think Method Man Shadowboxing. I think Redman How High.
Well, this is a different
feel what
time.
I'm saying? How high is the bar? Well, the bar is high, and I don't hear that bar on this album. But how about this? He's not sci-high lyrically, is what I felt on this album.
Not a lot of people are.
No, I'm not asking him to be. I'm just giving you some East Side comparisons. So
but
he's
I
not the best lyricist on the East Side. But what was I telling you? Is like I never felt that way before. But is he a better song maker than Sci-Hi?
I was just about to say that.
So, Mike, and
not
this
I
is the
think
evidence.
so.
This is evidence.
No,
this
not
is
I think so. He is.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. Undoubtedly.
So, hold on. So let's have this conversation right quick, because it's very rare that we get a artist coming out of Atlanta. Quite frankly, this is a solo artist that makes an album of this caliber.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it is. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah.
Yes. It's very rare
we got to go back to T.I.
out of Atlanta that makes an album of this caliber.
Yeah, we got to go to T.I.
This East Side, Zone 6, by the way.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all. You know?
My side in the house. Feels good to talk about the Easy. We up in here. Feels good to talk about the Easy. Yeah.
West Side, we've been running shit for a minute, you know, but it's all Atlanta.
Nobody cares, Mike. Nobody cares. Let's not have zone wars. Let's not have zone wars on the show that niggas don't understand.
I want to see Atlanta win regardless.
Right.
You know, East Side, West Side.
Don't start the zone 4, zone 6 shit, Mike.
We're not New York in that aspect, you know?
Right. We're not going to do Brooklyn QB.
We work together.
Like Brooklyn Queens, right. Because zone 4 has been running shit, Mike.
Yeah.
Zone 4 been running shit.
Gucci, 21... You know what I'm saying? Earth Gang's from the East Side.
Gucci's West Side, Mike. Gucci's East Side, Mike. That's Gresham.
No, that's what I'm saying. East Side's been running shit for a minute. Y'all been doing your thing.
No, I don't know about that, Mike. T.I. is West Side.
I know, you know.
Baby's West Side.
Yeah.
Savage is West Side.
Yeah.
That's who been running
I thought
shit.
Savage was East Side.
Savage East Side?
Yeah, I thought Savage was East Side.
I don't know about that, Mike.
We'll have to check that out. Mad Max with the super chat says Cody Blue 31 was my joint. Not a skip from track 1 to the end. I never was into him like that, but this album is top 3 for me. I feel the same exact way. I really wasn't into JID like that. You know, I ran into JID at the airport a couple of years ago, and I recognized him in ways where, you know, a lot of other people didn't. I just told him, like, yo, I like what you're doing.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? I like what you're doing. You got some dope shit going on. He's appreciated. But this right here, to me, this is a top 3 album of the year. Mad Max says Dub Aurora was this one on me, JID Forever Story, and Benny Tana Talks 4, my top 3. Go ahead. And Mad Max again says, I didn't hear K-Dot structure from this. I heard Dungeon Family and Outkast. I heard Outkast structure in this.
I heard Outkast and I heard Dungeon Family. So
this sounds like a Southern rap album, just with East Coast style lyrics.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so here was my thoughts on Cody Blue, because I was like, well, this is the first time he slowed it down.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm about to say. The chorus and the switch up is actually where he takes flight. Because, and this is what I mean, it's an album of the year contender. And when I hear an album that's an album of the year contender, I'm going to go super critical as to start parsing it through. We may have an issue, and it's the Big Sean issue, which is the voice is not as strong as the other aspects of his game as an MC. and it is a factor. Because part of why Cody Blue 31 works is because he's not on the chorus and because the melody is slowed down and he has
That's
to
him
rap
singing,
different.
isn't it? I thought that was him singing.
Is that him singing?
I think that's him singing. That's what's
If that's
impressive.
him singing, Mike. If that's him singing, I'm going to move him up from number 6 to number 5 on my album of the year.
No, I think that's him singing. That's impressive.
That's
very
dope.
soulful too. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
it's dope. I told you I took a note on Cody Blue 31 because I was like, this is actually. How about this? He's really dope and he's really insightful and he's great up to this point. But that's the point that this album does become an album of the year contender in my mind. So I like that you brought it up.
Yeah.
You mind if I just kind of like toggle back through my notes right quick? Because I took my notes. I grouped the familial notes together. So I put Crack Sandwich is beautiful, banging, and brilliant. I said, but so is Brother in them.
Mm.
And this is what I put right in there. I said, JID loves his family. I said, that's some East Side shit.
Yeah.
It is.
He contextualized it very well, too, you know?
No, and he did it without it being preachy or trying too hard or seeming country about it. Like country-ass country, like cousins kissing cousins country. And this is what I said. He's letting you all the way in.
Yeah.
Sister in them.
Yep.
That ending is the best ending to a rap song this year. And it's beautiful and it's painful. And Mike, I'm living some of it myself with my sisters. You feel me? Yeah, and I'm just going to let people into my life right quick because this is what I mean about how he gets you and what makes it an album of the year contender. I didn't know that a guy with a voice like this could tug on your emotions with his subject matter. Usually the guys like Pac, X, Beans, they have certain type of voices that help them tug on your emotions. Face. I didn't say Face. It's at the top of the list. Face, Pac, Beans, X. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like what they say. Hold on. Prodigy 2. Fuck with your emotions. You feel me?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a voice that does that. When I got done listening to Sister in Them, I thought about my sister Alicia, who never calls me on my birthday. I texted my sister Tracy. These are my two older sisters. I texted my sister Tracy, who literally called me 2 days ago. And I've been so busy that I didn't call her back, which I always do, because that's my motherfucker. You feel me? I literally texted her back and it was like, I'm so sorry for not getting back to you. I was like, I love you. We're going to talk this weekend. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about the strained relationship with my sister who called the police on me when we were starting our Wednesday show and got me locked up in jail for assault. You feel me? Even though she isn't. I thought about all those things when that record came on. And that's when I was like, no, this dude's great. Because you can't get me in that zone. Like, you can't get me thinking about elite. You can't get me thinking, and my youngest sister, you can't get me thinking about all four of my sisters at the same time. And he did. Like, in the different relationships or lack thereof sometimes that I have with them and the problems that come with them. And then when he tried the shit at the end with the phone and the numbers different, I was like, that's why I texted Tracy, because it's like, I don't even know if Alicia and Michaela's number are the same. I just got Tracy and Audrey number. You feel me?
Yeah. Well put together, man. And
shit real. No, the shit real, and it's touching something. That's part of what you want out of your classic shit. It's Raekwon on Rainy Days. It's Nas and AZ on Life's a Bitch. It's Big Boy and out. It's Andre on the Art of Storytelling Part 1. The Susie Screw had a partner named Sasha Thump. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, I don't know her, but I know that girl. And it touched, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's those moments. And it's like, no, that was the moment. So it's like Crack Sandwich, Brother in Them, is family songs. But Sister in Them is actually the family song where it's like he gets real. He starts talking about the psychological, emotional aspects of things and what he's going through in the relationship. And he's the youngest of 7.
Wow.
And he's a Division I talent. He played cornerback at Hampton before he got kicked off the team.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
he was good.
It's interesting that you mentioned the voice thing, because I said something about that Wednesday. Listening to this album, I feel like his voice wasn't as high, right? I think at certain points, Crack Sandwich is probably one of the ones that I pointed out. I noted on my notes is the fact that I'm like, okay, well, I feel like he leveled out his voice, and his voice sounds a little bit more it's not as high. Now, again, it's not the strength of the voices that you're talking about, but it's like a regular rap voice. Because one of the things that I got from JID early was like, he can rhyme, but his voice is extremely high, right? I didn't see that on a lot of this, and I think that he kind of balanced it out, and it sounds really good with the production, well put together. Mad Max
It
says,
is.
I'll return to this before Black Thought and Rock Marciano and them guys. I agree. I think that the replay value on this album is very high. For me,
So you want to know
we'll
what it
see.
is? It's more entertaining and more relatable than those two albums, and I will agree with you on that. The entertainment value, just off Crack Sound's brother in them and sister in them, the entertainment value of how he's weaving these stories is super high.
Ron Vay in the building. Shout out to Ron Vay with the super chat. He
But can I
says,
tell you something, Mike?
what's
Hold
up?
on.
I was just going to get the Ron Vay
I-
super chat real quick. He said, if we're comparing Forever Story to Good Kid, Mad City, Poetic Justice sounds like an obvious fourth single too. But JID is rapping at a higher level at this point in his career
No,
than
he's not.
Kendrick was at Good Kid, Mad City.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
I'm
I see what Ron Vay's saying.
No, I'm going to respect Ron right quick. There's no backseat freestyle on here. There's no reel on here. Like if you want to talk about contextualizing a story about the hood and about where you come from, it doesn't get much better than real. Like in the history of rap. So I get what he's saying. JID is not Kendrick lyrically on Good Kid, Mad City.
I can't wait till
story of
Monday.
Shireen's daughter. No, hold on. Shireen's daughter is better than all of these stories. Master
I can't wait
Splinter's
till
daughter.
Monday.
Huh?
I can't wait till Monday.
Bro, I can't wait till Monday too.
We're going to play the music.
Hold on. I never thought. You understand this is a show where I've officially started defending Jay-Z's verse and now Kendrick's bar work. Where are we? This is Twilight Zone type shit. Where's the Crypt Keeper? This Tales from the Crypt. Y'all got me defending Good Kid, Mad City. This is not Good Kid, Mad City.
LP says, Mike
There's
meets.
no bitch don't kill my vibe on here. There is no bitch don't kill my vibe on here.
LP says, Mike meets JID and shows love. Coop tries him. LOL.
No, that's my East Side homie. He was shouting out shit that I came up on. So when he's shouting out the Walmart on Gresham, which is very, Mike, you want to talk about problematic? The Walmart on Gresham is very problematic, Mike. I know. Talking about Memorial Drive, Mike. Mike, I told you, I used to run into the niggas from Whoop, there it is, up at the Blimpie on Memorial Drive back in 91, 92. They weren't rapping when I ran into them when I was a kid. They weren't rapping, you know what I'm saying?
I see Ryder, people are saying that Ryder is better than Backseat Freestyle.
I don't believe that at all.
You don't believe that? Yeah, we're going to get to the tracks and just play
We got to get
side by side. We got
to
do
you understand that if y'all think this album is better than Good Kid, Mad City, then y'all are saying it's probably one of the 30 to 40 greatest rap albums.
No. I don't think anybody said it's better than Good Kid, Mad City. I think what Ron Vay said was lyrically, he's better than Kendrick was at that point in Kendrick's career.
And I don't believe that.
You don't think so? He sounds very polished on this record.
Mike, where's the rhyme of the year stuff? Like the best stuff is actually the story. The best stuff is the story stuff, which I'm okay with because I'm a big Rick the Ruler and Nas and Scarface fan. So I'm cool with the stories.
What about Money?
Don't tell me that this guy is lyrically better than Kendrick, though. It's like now we're doing too much. He's not like.
What about Money?
I'm about to pull up the track list in Good Kid, Mad City, Mike.
No need to do that. That's gonna
no
one's saying that he's better than Kendrick.
I didn't even know that people thought enough of this album that we were having a Kendrick Lamar Good Kid, Mad City conversation. I told you that's the West Coast Illmatic.
Listen,
it's like you're telling me this is. Are you telling me that this is the Southern Illmatic? Because that's what Good Kid, Mad City is.
This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. I think that it is very Good Kid, Mad City influence when it comes to the structure of it all, right?
But it's not Good Kid, Mad City, though.
This is his coming out party. I think Good Kid, Mad City has bigger records. But I think that this album is put together in a similar fashion without a Money Trees, because it doesn't have a Money Trees, no. Right?
Mike, it doesn't have a lot of the stuff that Good Kid, Mad City has.
But I do think bar for bar.
Good Kid, Mad City are a 5, Mike.
I think bar for
Nestor
bar.
Splinter's Daughter is a 5. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is a 5. Backseat Freestyle is a 5. Real is a 5. Compton is a 5. Sing of Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is a 5. Like, these are perfect songs. They're not perfect songs on this album.
Okay. You know, this
They're
is what I
not.
will
Where's the
say.
perfect? Mike, no. We're pulling up Good Kid, Mad City because now this, for all the shit that I talked
This
about Kendrick,
hasn't-
we're
this-
not about to compare this album to Good Kid, Mad City.
I'm
That's
just
more
comparing the
disrespectful.
structure. I'm comparing the
No,
structure to it.
even doing that is more disrespectful than anything I've said about Kendrick. This is not Good Kid, Mad City territory. That's one of the greatest rap albums that ever got made. This album does not deserve to be mentioned with that album, and I'm not about to do it. And if you want to do it, I'm just going to start annihilating this album, which I don't want to do either, because he's from my zone.
I want to save that conversation for Monday, but this is what I will say.
Very
I think that
problematic.
he's put himself in the lyricist of the year conversation.
No.
You don't think so?
So who is he ahead of that we have up there? Black Thought? No.
You don't think so?
Lupe? No. Ransom? No.
I think he is ahead of.
You didn't even put Method Man up, Mike. Method Man didn't even make our top 5. Like, stop that. No, he's not. Like, where are y'all getting this from? Like, what are y'all? Do I need to listen to this album again? Maybe I do. Maybe I need to listen.
I think you need to listen to this album again.
No, maybe I do. I mean, I've listened twice, but I'll listen again.
I think his performance, and I know you're a big Black Thought guy, and I think Black Thought's one of the greatest lyricists ever. I think his performance on this album is better than Black Thought's performance on his album.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to submit to you. Show me one verse that's better than either of the verses on Aquamarine or Gold Teeth.
Again.
Show me one. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Show me one verse that's better than any of the verses on those 2 songs.
And we can do that Monday. We can do that Monday.
No, Mike, this is what I'm saying. This is like one of those things that you know it when you hear it. When I heard Life's a Bitch, I knew that lyrically, that was one of the best things that I had ever heard. The same way when I heard No Gold Teeth, I was like, that's a classic. When I heard Aquamarine, I was like, that's a classic. Show me where he's like that on here. Pick the song right now. Because you and I pulled up, as soon as Black Thought album dropped, it was like, No Gold Teeth, Aquamarine. Those are solo records by him where we're like, no, that ain't even no question.
Aquamarine
Where's the
is
JID
incredible.
record like that, Mike?
Aquamarine is incredible.
No, Mike, that's not what I asked you. I asked you to give me the JID record comparable to No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine lyrically if you feel like the performance is better and if people feel that way. Because he's not up for lyricist of the year. Like, this is a Black Thought.
You don't think Crack Sandwich, Money, Stars, Sister in them, Brother in them, Cody Blue 31.
Like
you don't think these are lyricists of the year performances?
No.
Well, I guess people.
No Gold Teeth or Aquamarine, Mike. It's not the same level.
Okay.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
That's like, that get off my lawn thing too.
No, it's not. No. This is what I'm saying. That might be the greatest lyricist that ever lived, spitting.
Oh, Coop went out. Coop, you there? Let's see. Coop went out for a second. You there? Okay, cool. You back.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Black Thought cut me out.
Hold on. You're literally comparing somebody who might literally be the best lyricist ever and having his finest lyrical moments as a solo artist versus a guy that we don't even think lyrically is better than Sahai the Prince. All I'm asking you to do is give me the evidence on the record, because No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine is evidence. And if you cannot provide me with evidence,
we'll play the records. I think that's the best way to do it.
Mike, it's all bad for you. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I play Aquamarine, I'm having trouble deciding what the verse of the year is. And when I mean that, I mean it's a conversation between verse 1 and verse 2, not anybody else's bars this year. That's how great Aquamarine is. JID is nowhere on that level lyrically on this album. Storytelling-wise, he is there. Lyrically, he is not in Black Thought's realm. Mike, lyrically, he is probably never going to be in Black Thought's realm because he's not even in Sci-Hi's realm yet. That's what I'm saying. So when you're saying that, it's like, no, you got to give me the evidence of where, like, this is what, okay, so a lot of people are like, Coop, you think too much of Conway. You have him rated too high. Well, he spikes in a way that's ungodly sometimes, as in, like, he can have a better verse than Method Man on Lemon, Jesus Crisis, Where's the moment like that on here lyrically? This album doesn't have that, but it has a lot of dope stuff. And I got some more notes I want to get to about the dope stuff.
Go ahead.
I said, you and me, I took this note specifically for you and me. I said, we asked to get more out of this guy. I said, and he actually gave it to us. I said, how many times do you ask more out of an artist and they actually go and give you more? It's almost like he knows his audience and is paying attention. High marks for that. Here's where I'm going to take some marks away from him. On Can't Punk Me. This is another thing of why styles make fights. Well, he sounds great on Can't Punk Me. Earth Gang sounds better, even though he is more lyrically inclined than them. Yeah, I feel like they stole the show from him on Can't Punk Me.
I was going to ask you about Can't Punk Me.
I feel like they stole the show from him. When I heard Can't Punk Me, I was like, this is why I have the Earth Gang album, literally, after listening to the JID, one slot ahead of the JID album for album of the in terms of album of the year contention.
I think this is a voice thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's why I brought up the voice thing.
Because I think JID's verse is actually the better verse. I really wasn't feeling the last verse like that. The second verse, yeah. But
can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
So the voice comment came from hearing Can't Punk Me and Cody Blue 31. Because when I heard Earth Gang and then I heard the switch up on the chorus, and I'm like, what are those records like without Earth Gang? What is that record like without that chorus? Because of his voice, he needed them on those two records for those records to reach their status. I don't know if I love that.
Nobody's on Cody Blue.
The record's there. Both of the records are banging, though.
Hold on. Nobody's on Cody Blue. Yeah, nobody's on that.
Who's singing that chorus? Is that him singing the chorus?
It's him.
Is it really him?
Yeah, it's him.
I'm going to give him high marks for that, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
That's super high marks. How about this? I'll tell you what. If I feel like Earth Gang is outshining him style-wise on Can't Punk Me, that second verse is the best verse on there. Like, lyrically, he's better, but the second verse, he just freaked him. He pulled the Andre on him. I was like, he just got Andre. I was like, he just got outstyled on his record.
Nas the GOAT with the super chat says, Coop, Cole still has verse of the year. Stop it. Jay Short says, Mike, the last few weeks.
The verses of the year. They're better than all Cole shits. Yeah.
Jay Short says, Mike, the last few weeks, it sounds like you think cheat codes is really a 3.75 and you're being PC. Let it off your chest. You'll feel better.
You don't like cheat codes. I feel that way too. I feel like you don't like cheat codes.
I don't like.
I feel like you
and
feel
I
like the best record already got dropped.
I picked cheat codes to be album of the year. It does. I'm gonna be honest. I'll get it off my chest, man. It does nothing for me. It's technically great.
It does nothing for you?
Aquamarine
Mike, I have to hear No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine every day. How can you say that?
I like listen, some of the records do. I'm just talking about as a whole. Okay. And I think Aquamarine is great. Incredible record. No Gold Teeth. I love it. Again, those are the two records that make me feel like, yo, this might be album of the year. Love the record with Raekwon. I actually love the record with Joey and Russ more than I think you do.
Because?
Yeah, because.
Strangers is the shit, Mike. I like the Strangers record more than the Because.
I like Strangers too. But the rest
Mike, these are bangers. Half the album is classic shit on there. It's 12 tracks. 6 of the songs are classic, Mike.
I think classic is strong. They're very good songs.
I don't, Mike. Strangers, that shit that ASAP is spitting after Thought, and then the way Mike closes it up, Because with Joey, No Gold Teeth, Darkest Part with Raekwon, Aquamarine. No, Mike, I just gave you classic shit.
I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy and maybe unfair, but I expected more, I guess.
What do you want?
And I think, and it's not even Black Thought. I think it's more Danger Mouse. I think it's more Danger Mouse than Black Thought. Black Thought did his thing, like you said, like we said on our Patreon episode.
We talked about this on the Patreon show, right?
He rapped up to the level of the beats, and I think where Danger Mouse fell short, he was a little less entertaining. And I think that the entertainment value of this album isn't where I thought it would be. Maybe that's unreasonable though. Maybe it maxed out on that too.
So let's call this performance what it is. And I said this on the Patreon show, and I said this to you. I said, Mike, I said, when the beat is a 10, I said, Thought is on 10.
I think they didn't do anything outside of comfort zones. And maybe, again, that might be unfair where I feel like
Aquamarine is outside of Black Thought's comfort zone.
That is the highest moment, yes.
So the highest moment is outside of his comfort zone, and that's what I mean about how they need to push the boundary more. See,
Yeah.
No Gold Teeth is in his pocket.
I think
Aquamarine is outside of his pocket. And so when those are the two best records on the album, that lets me know that you can do anything.
I think
so go
everything
do it.
else, though.
Half of the records are classic to me, Mike.
I think
like
everything
Strangers,
else on the record is in his pocket outside of Aquamarine. Like, I felt like Danger Mouse could have stretched a little more, maybe.
Oh, you want to know what else too, Mike? I want you to go listen to Identical Deaths again right after Aquamarine. That's a great story.
Okay.
He's actually telling a story.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'm off, Jay Short. Maybe I need to listen to the album more. But initial listen didn't grab me as much as it grabbed Coop. Mad Max with the super chat says, Coop, there's no Mike. I love Black Thought. He's not the best lyricist ever to me. Daylight, Papoose, King Los are better lyricists. And JID on Sci-Hi's level.
No, they're not. They don't connect.
Those dudes
they don't
are
connect.
incredible.
They don't connect. You have to connect. This is what I keep trying to tell people. Muhammad Ali is not the greatest boxer of all time without the jab. Because guess what? That's the number one punch that he had that did what? Connected. You want to know why those guys are tired? You want to know why he's able to knock them out in the later rounds? Because for about 7 or 8 rounds, this 6'2", 225-pound guy is giving him this, and it's fast and it's quick and it pops.
I'm seeing people saying
you gotta
that.
Connect. You can't just go swinging and knocking a motherfucker out. You need to throw some jabs.
I'm seeing people saying that they think that Cheat Code is submit as well. So maybe Cheat Code's not connecting.
I heard people saying the JID was submit as well. Y'all need to make up y'all mind.
Maybe it's not connecting. I feel like the JID has a lot more depth in the fact that I might need some more listens. I could be off on it or I could be spot on. But our first listen, it felt like, I'm going to be revisiting this album.
The JID is more entertaining and requires more of you. So here's what I would tell you. The singles are so what I just brought up, his voice, and the singles are actually the biggest issue. Well, your singles can't sound like they're contrived if the album's not classic. So when you're bringing up Poetic Justice from Good Kid, Mad City, that's fine. But you understand almost every other song on there is classic, right? You understand that's the weakest song on there, right?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't go back to Good Kid, Mad City like that. You know, I feel
very problematic.
You know how I feel. To Pimp a Butterfly, I hold higher. You know, I just do. I always have.
Cool. I mean, Mike, I've already won that argument because after he just dropped To Pimp a Butterfly Part 3.5 that nobody wanted to hear, it's like everybody back on Good Kid, Mad City. So I'll take that.
I think a lot of people are back on To Pimp a Butterfly. They did
I told you, it made the replay value of To Pimp a Butterfly so much higher. It's like, oh, this is what it sounds like when he's concise and on point and not like drifting for 5 years. Right.
So hold on. Let me get this right. Because I know you're talking about Mr. Morale or whatever. And I went back and listened to Mr. Morale. It's not a bad album. I think it's not the album you put out. It's not the album you put out after a 5-year hiatus. But I go back to that album more than I do Cheat Code. I do. I'm just being honest.
It's not a bad album. It's just not a good album.
I go back to that album more than I do Cheat Code. And I know somebody in the chat
Mike,
said something.
I feel sorry for you that you're...
Hold on, let me finish. I know you're a super Black Thought fan. I know you're a super Black Thought fan. I'm just being honest. It's about connections.
If somebody's forcing you, Mike, and you say these same things to listen to the Kendrick album, blink twice.
You say
twice.
Cool.
Blink twice, Mike. We can save you. You don't have to listen to the Kendrick album. You don't have to. Blink twice if somebody's putting you hostage.
Cool. You say the same things to Lupe fans. You do. And the way that you talk about Lupe fans, I feel the same way about this Black Thought Cheat Codes. And I picked it as a possible album of the year. Now, I look at these individual songs.
Let me finish. This was your album of the year pick.
It was.
Cheat Codes was your album of the year
pick.
I picked 83. You picked Cheat Codes.
I did. And I'm the one that's speaking like this about Cheat Codes. I look at it.
Very problematic that you are.
I listen to these songs and I'm like, yeah, well, technically did everything right. But something just doesn't connect with me. I don't know what it is. Mad Max in the super chat says, take the roots from Black Thought, and he never connected either. So let's stop Papoose is better line for line, King Los 2, and Daylight.
Okay. Name the classic Papoose and King Los songs. I'll wait, because Black Thought has classic shit with the roots. It can't be touched. That's like having the same conversation about Q-Tip or Remember a Daylight. You feel what I'm saying? Or certain members of Wu-Tang Clan. That's not fair. Like, go ahead and take. Oh, go
Well,
ahead
I
and shit on
think
Inspector
vibrant
Deck.
thing is important.
What about an Inspector Deck? How about that? Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. Let me tell you. Let me get to the rest of these JID notes. Can't Make You Change with Ari Lennox.
Dope,
and
bro.
this is what I mean about I'm gonna take these singles into account because here's my problem when I listen to it. He had singles on here that he didn't have to force these singles. Can't Make You Change is the real organic single. But you can't do that anymore. And on top of that, Mike, if you want to talk about his Rhyme of the Year stuff, Can't Make You Change is where the literary devices are on 12, 15, 20, especially the ending, the last verse on Can't Make You Change.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, stars with Yazine Bey. First of all, I thought about something. We need to start calling him Yazine Bey and respecting his beliefs.
Oh, definitely. No.
Ideology.
And I know sometimes we slip up because,
I call him Most so
he
much.
made a lot of his groundbreaking stuff as Most Def. But yes, you're right.
No.
We need to respect the name and respect the beliefs and call him Yasin Bey.
When Muhammad Ali became Muhammad Ali and got called, before he was Cassius Clay, but he asked to be respected, we call him Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
When Lou Alcindor changed his name, became a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. No, I agree with you 100%.
And so the first thing that I thought about when I saw his name on the record is like, I never call him Yasin. I always call him Most because he's Most to me. I need to call him Yasin because that's what I mean about respecting the religion.
Right.
You
and
feel
like,
me?
I don't even like when
respect
Shaq
his
goes out
faith.
there. I don't even like when Shaq goes out there and calls Abdul Rauf, Chris Smith or whatever he calls. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, Chris Mims.
yeah, it's like, come on, man, don't
Chris
do
Mims.
that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. So yeah,
Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson, yeah.
Right.
It's like, don't do that. Especially the fact that you know him personally. Like, that's not cool. So yes, Yasin Bey.
So here's the next thing that I want to point out to you. Why doesn't Yasin sound like this on No Fear of Time?
Exactly.
Because this is the problem. And so let's pause right here. No Fear of Time cannot get Album of the Year because this verse exists outside of No Fear of Time. You can't put this kind of bar work in outside. Like, Mike, this might be the best verse on the album.
One of them. He sounds invigorated. He sounds energetic, but again, I'm putting a lot of that on the performance level that JID has on this album.
That's not fair. No.
You don't think that most heard these songs?
Talib.
I'm not talking about Talib.
No, that's not fair to Talib, Mike. Talib lyrically on No Fear of Time is as precise as he's ever been with Most right next to him.
I understand that.
So if Most is not invigorated, you want to know what that is? That's when you've been in a marriage for 25 years and your partner don't excite you no more. Even though your partner done got their game together and actually looks better than they did when you got with them. Think about Talib on No Fear of Time is better as an MC lyrically, delivery, timing, and vocally than he is on their first album. But Yasin's not respecting it. Talib delivered. Most of the drawback about No Fear of Time is about Most sounding lazy, unfocused, and uninterested, and the beats not being what people want. Mike, if he sounds like this on No Fear of Time is running away with the Album of the Year, even though nobody heard it. And so I can't give it a pass. And so what this song made me do was take No Fear of Time down a notch further. And we're going to talk about another reason why I did it too, if we get time to talk about this Drink Champs episode that I just seen that they obviously edited because these niggas are dropping way too much knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get
dropping too much knowledge. It's like you're not allowed to spit these bars.
I don't think we're going to get to the
2-hour episode into 45 minutes. You're not allowed to talk these bars.
I don't think we're going to get to the Drink Champs episode, but one thing I will say about
Patreon, Mike, we got to get to the Drink Champs episode. We might need to play some clips. We need to play that.
Definitely.
No, they said some real shit on there. They did. No,
I think Yasin.
I don't always agree with them, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But that episode that they just did was the most informative Drink Champs that I'd ever seen, and that was actually the best interview that I seen Noriega do. He was an interviewer, and he was actually hitting the mark. And maybe that was the editing of it too, because you get it so unfiltered. But no, that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah. So I did love Yasin Bey's performance on here, but I think that a lot of that, to me, I attribute that to the young energy and innovation that most was hearing in what he gathered in the studio. A lot of MCs from that branch of hip hop, I would say, are more driven to inspiration, energy. We saw what he was then Most Def, what his energy was like when Kanye came in the room at College Dropout before he even had an album out. He gravitates to that young or new energy, shall I say? And I think that that's what we hear on this JID album. You got Yasin Bey listening to this young cat that's spitting the way he's spitting. He probably played him some of his records like Sister in them or whatever. And he's like, you know what? I'm feeling this.
And you want to know what that might be?
And I love your analogy
like
about 25 years. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's on point.
No, that's what I mean. Is it's like, yo, you're like, I mean, you know this before, Mike. I've been married. It's like sometimes your partner gets in shape at certain points in the relationship is looking real, real good. You feel me? But in your mind and in your eyes, you saw the person that you met. So you never saw them get out of shape, get back in shape, get better, get tighter, change their whole shit. It's like, no, you seeing the motherfucker that you met in your eyes and your mind and your heart and your soul. It's hard to see the switch up. Yeah. And so I think Yasin actually just missed a really brilliant moment with his partner, because this is the first time I've heard his partner rhyme where it's like, no, you need to be rhyming right next to him, as in Yasin is one of the best MCs of all time. And his partner on this album actually sounds like he can rap with one of the best MCs. Talib on No Fear of Time is Big Boy on Aquemini. That's the best way to contextualize it. It's like, no, he was dope. He was great. No, he's all-time great. And what happens on Aquemini, because Dre is all-time great as he always is too. Well, it's an all-time great album. Do you feel what I'm saying? So if Yasin is all-time great, the way that he is capable of doing at the drop of a dime, Mike, did you hear the Drink Champs? I've been good at this since I was 9. No. This is a gift from Allah. He didn't say it was a gift from God, Mike, by the way. He said it was a gift from Allah. He's like, I've been good at this since I was 9. I've never been bad at this. Notice he said, I wasn't always great. I wasn't always legendary. He said, I was never bad. He said, that's what I mean about the humility. Notice how he said, I was never bad at this.
No, the humility in
Allah
itself.
blessed me with this. And he said, Allah blessed me with this, not God.
That's the humility. That he said Allah gave him a gift and he is entitled to use it.
He didn't say God did. He didn't say on God.
No, he didn't.
He said Allah.
He said Allah. And he said, I am entitled to use that gift.
Yes.
And you know what?
I've always said this. I felt him when he said it.
Me too. Because I've always said on this show and even offline or whatever, Mos Def is the most naturally gifted rapper I have ever heard. And when he sits there and says that he was dope at 9, I believe that shit.
No.
I believe it.
No. You and I have had this conversation and we share this sentiment. As far as the effortless nature that comes with the craft of MCing, nobody above him, and that is God given in my realm, Allah given in his, or however you want to juxtapose or contextualize it, did not come from him. It came from.
It's a gift coming from on high.
Yeah,
you know,
way up high, way up high. His gifts are from way up high, and you want to know what? He can tell that his gifts are from way up high. And I looked at him when he said that. Is why I was like, I need to start calling him Yasin.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, no, I felt that. Because I've always felt...
No, I felt that in my bones, Mike. He gave me goosebumps.
Because I've always felt that when I've heard him. Like, this is a gifted person. You feel that when
you hear him. Yeah. So can we just talk about it briefly? When Noriega's talking about, I fall out of love with hip-hop and I play this. When he said it, I was like, I know what he's doing.
And we all thought the same thing.
When I fall out of love, guess what I play too? I play... Mike, his performance on What's Beef on Dave Chappelle's show and the Know the Ledge in the car ride is 2 of the greatest moments in hip-hop history. Literally. His verse on What's Beef is one of the greatest verses ever. The What's Beef verse is one of the greatest verses ever. But the car ride, Mike, that's one of the best hip-hop moments ever. I'm going to let people inside of our minds, our first idea for anything, according to hip-hop related, that did not have to do with this podcast, was to try to re-emulate Dave Chappelle in Mos Def's car ride. And our goal was to get Griselda to do the ride along. It's like, we want y'all niggas in the car riding with us in Atlanta doing the cypher. because most set that shit off in a way that you're never going to forget. You and I have talked about this literally for 2 decades now, that performance.
I was a Yasin Bey fan the moment I heard him, right? And I was just listening to High and Mighty B-Boy document the other day. When I saw, to the point where that Dave Chappelle episode came into play, and I saw that live when, Comedy Central showed it for the first time, I'm like, that's Most. It's effortless.
That's that guy.
He literally could just
it's the way
sit there.
He was spitting, Mike. It was nothing to him when he was spitting. He wasn't trying. He wasn't breathing heavy. He wasn't suffering. He wasn't stuttering.
It's like
he was just
talking.
like, no, I got this shit, dog.
His flow is just natural. Like, he's talking to you. Like, it's just so effortless. Like, I've done, and again, I don't want to bring this Jay verse back into play, and because he does a lot of effortless stuff too, and I joke all the time whenever Nas
He's the most effortless.
Yeah, when Nas and Jay are on a record together, you can hear Jay-Z trying. You can hear Jay-Z trying on BBC. You can hear him trying on Black Republican, and it's it is great results normally. But on this record that came out, I guess today, he was trying very hard. I've never heard Mos Def ever have to do that. Even like on Oh No, Pharoah Monch gives like one of his greatest performances ever. Mos Def is chilling. Even on the cypher that everybody talk about with Eminem and Black Thought, where they're spitting their brains out, Mos is chilling.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because it's so natural to him, and he doesn't have to try hard.
I get what you're saying, and there's something that's really cool about that. But there's also, I'm a competitor, Mike, and so I like it when a guy goes for his. What I do always love about Jay is the competitive nature which he approaches things, because his competitive nature is so maniacal, just like Kobe, just like Mike, like Tom. He goes too far sometimes. That's how maniacal the nature is.
Yeah.
Like the Watcher 2 verse, you notice I was putting up the 2 when you were saying it, because we both knew what was going on. That Watcher 2 verse, it's like, that is maniacal, and you are trying too hard.
Very much so.
Also, too, if I'm going to respect the game and respect the hustle, because you can't knock the hustle.
Never.
That's part of what makes him who he is. Now, understand this. No 26 or 27-year-old MC ever stepped into the game with the opportunity to be the best MC in the game until he did. Him and DMX did it in parting years, about 2 years apart. That happened for those guys. It's never going to happen again. This is a we get you between 17 to 25 type of game. You feel me? So the fact that he crept to 26, 27, that's where that competitive nature comes from. Because I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite bars from him is on This Can't Be Life, when he was like thinking, damn, it's around the time that Big and Mac dropped. And Illmatic Rock had a heavy rad drop. In the West had it locked. Everybody doing them. I'm still standing on the block like, damn, I'm gonna be a failure. Surrounded by drugs, thugs, and drug paraphernalia. I'm like, that's the hustle and the mind and the hunger and the competitive nature that removed him from them circumstances. Never going to take that away from him, because he got here off of that more than anything else, even though he had skills. You feel me?
Yeah, it's your upbringing, right? And I think also, though, when we look at Yasin, he doesn't sound like he's trying on 2 words. And that's why, like, when we were talking about the best performance on the College Dropout, and I start quoting, Jay's verse from Never Let Me Down, I'm like, it's a great verse. But the way Most delivered on his great verse as well, it was so effortless in a way where, even on that album, Jay is giving effort. And
he delivered on the concept better, too.
He delivered on the concept better. Nobody outside of, I think him and Andre, is very debatable, but I'm going to give the nod to Most. Nobody puts together conceptual pieces lyrically like Most. When we talk about Respiration, when we talk about his verse about time on the Hurricane soundtrack, no one puts together conceptual pieces like Most. I'll give Andre some credit too, because even if we look at like International Players Anthem, they were able to make a whole video based on this man's verse. Concepts. You want to get to this Rock Marciano? Because I want to get to a rating for this album. We're like 3 hours and 20 minutes in.
No, we are. We got to get to the rock joint too. I'm about to finish up my notes, and then I'm gonna have to switch devices because the laptop's dying.
Oh,
and I told you what happened with the charger and all that. We've been having all types of technical issues.
Yeah.
But let me finish. This is why you didn't need the other two singles. Money is another organic single, Mike. The whole money thing. Mm-hmm. It's like when I heard Just in Time is Money, I was thinking to myself, well, what do you need surround sound for? Like, why did you make that record? You don't need to make that record like Money and Can't Make You Change. Those are organic. And so I didn't like the fact that he felt the need to play the game because he's dropped a couple of projects and he doesn't feel like they've trended the way they should. And that's why Dance Now and Surround Sound pop up. And what I tell you, this album is so brilliant, it's so beautiful outside of those two records, that those records actually bring the quality value down. They're two of the weaker songs on this album. Like literally, if I was going through the weakest songs, I would go Radar, Dance Now, Surround Sound. And yeah, and Louder too. I didn't love the ending.
Okay.
Louder 2 and Better Days are just okay. But the weakest songs are the first song, the first two songs, and the last song, and the last two songs.
The last song. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. LP with the super chat says, "How y'all feel about 3000 doing a new movie before an album?"
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Go ahead.
And he's right about that. Just in Time with Wayne. That's the real single, Mike. Yeah. Why did we not hear Just in Time with Wayne? What else do you want? Would you like some literary devices? Would you like an agenda to fit the masses? Like, you want some rap shit? You want some clout shit? You want some guest appearance shit? You want a beat? That's the song. Just in Time is the song they shouldn't release. So when you're telling me that it's album of the year, I'm like, not with those as the single. Not in this year, because Kendrick got album of the year in that year. The next best album is Life is Good. This ain't a Life is Good second place kind of year, Mike. This is not album of the year because there's too many missteps. There's his voice. There's these poor single choices. When he had 3 other singles, Mike, he can even release Stars with Yasin. He's got 4 singles on the back of his album that are organic and natural. Earth Gang just popped. Dreamville just popped. Cole's on this run. Can I finish? My last thought. These songs are slightly too long for these times. There's too many 4-minute songs on this album to call it album of the year. We're not calling no album of the year. They got sitting up here 1992 fucking 4-minute songs on it consistently. We not. It's not, Mike. We just so not, Mike.
Really
it's 4.5-minute songs. You know better, Mike. You know better. It's 4.5-minute songs. We're not playing those games. The World Is Yours is like 4 minutes and 36 seconds. We're not playing those games no more.
You're getting really particular on this album. I like it.
I'm particular because he's really good and he deserves the critique. That's what I'm saying. Like when I give guys smoke, I'm giving you smoke because I'm like, oh shit. When I listen to this album, I'm like, oh no, he done made it. I need to critique it.
Jay Short with the super chat says, personality aside, I think y'all underrate Talib's performance on Black Star, Train of Thought, and quality. He is on the top. He was on a top pace. I think Train of Thought is brilliant, and you know how much I like Mos and Yasin. I think Train of Thought's better than Black on both sides. That's an unpopular opinion by me, but I feel like Train of Thought is actually the best piece of work that Black Star has put together collectively as an individual entity, solo artist, and as a group. Ray Realm says The Elephant Man's Bones by Rock Marciano and The Alchemist are far ahead, 99.99% of hip-hop today. Horns of, Abarex is a masterclass in hardcore hip-hop. You ready to get to that album?
It is. So I want to just finish off with one last thought, and this is a Cole thought. He's got the Dreamville mixtape right now, Mike.
Yeah.
It's got the Earth Gang Ghetto Gods album. It's got the JID Forever story.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm about to say. Not since Wu-Tang Clan has a collective dropped 2 album of the year contenders in 1 year, in the only year in hip-hop history where there were ever 3, Mike, Return to the 36 Chambers, Only Built for Cuban Links, and Liquid Swords. I would like J. Cole to finish this deal and put a stamp. No, listen. No, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. For whatever smoke that I give, I was raised on the east side of Atlanta and the west side of Charlotte. This is some true Atlanta and North Carolina shit going on. You feel me?
Yeah.
I want to see these motherfuckers win more than anything else. Do you know what cements this victory for this year? This is a Dreamville year
Mm-hmm.
if Cole drops an album, because where I have JID's album, and this is exactly how I have it. I have it No Fear in Time and Cheat Codes tied at first right now. And then right after that, I have Che Noir's Food for Thought. And then I'm torn between Ransom's album and Earth Gang's album. And then right after that, I have JID's album. But Mike, the way that it's shaping out, if Cole drops an album and he sounds the way that he sounds, I think 3 of the 7 best albums this year can come out of one camp. And only Wu-Tang Clan can say that.
That's very
and that's
fair.
That's special potential territory to be in. And so what I really want is I want Cole to drop his album to compete this movement. And I'm going to say this again. For all the coverage we've been giving Griselda didn't drop 3 albums like that in a year. And so that's what I mean. It's like they dropped 2 albums like that. We got Pray for Paris from a King to a God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Benny's album wasn't like that. Just straight up and down. This year we got God Don't Make Mistakes and Tana Talk 4. The Earth Gang and the JID album are better than both of those. I want Cole to step in and finish this deal for the South.
Jay Short Super Chat said, my bad, Talib was on a top 15 pace. Interesting. Hold on.
No, he wasn't. But okay.
Nas the Goat said, Yassine Bey is an incredible actor as well. Yes, he is.
He might be a better actor than MC, which is crazy.
He's
crazy.
From a technical standpoint, he might be the best actor hip-hop's ever had.
From a training standpoint, It's not a question. From the technical training aspect of actually being able to method act and act, you want to know what it is? And I noticed this when he did the interview. And this is true acting shit, not even MC shit. He knows exactly when he can and cannot speak, and that is acting shit.
Mm-hmm.
He never speaks out of turn or out of place. Even when he cuts Talib off, he knows Talib so well that he cuts Talib off in a place where when he knows Talib is done accentuating the thought that's important to him before he steps in to speak, and he will not speak before then. I watch nonverbal communication more than I watch verbal communication, Mike.
Mad Max with the Super Chat says, Coop, stop. You can have a 4-minute song today. I remember Fabio got hot off of Big Drip. That song is damn near 5 minutes. Kids were playing that stuff like crazy. It's a very good observation. And Mad Max also says, I met 3. It's not that far off from 4 minutes. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get on to this Rock Marciano. What are you rating this album?
Hold on. What are we rating the JID? No, I think
that's what I'm talking about.
JID.
What are you rating the JID?
Remember how you told me like all 4.25s are rated the same, as in with the Lotto and the Megan? That's how I feel about the Earth Gang and the JID. Not all 4.5s are created the same, Mike, but I'm going to give Earth Gang the slight edge. I'm giving this a 4.5 by JID and an excellent job. Well done. But a couple steps away, and not the Earth Gang album, in my opinion. But I also said, like you said, when I heard this album, it's like, I got to go listen to the Earth Gang album again from beginning to end. I know lyrically this album is not better than Che or Ransom's album. I need to go listen to see if it's better overall. I don't care what you say, Mike. There's not one hip-hop classic song on this JID album. There is on No Fear of Time and Cheat Codes.
That's
classic songs matter. Don't tell me an album with classic songs that's just as good as an album without classic songs is not as good as an album. No Gold Teeth is going to go down like a classic. Aquamarine is going to go down like a classic. Mike, Strangers, that shit crazy. The Darkest Part with Raekwon, crazy.
I like The Darkest Part.
Because, Mike, Belize, crazy. No, there's too many high levels on Cheat Codes. No Fear of Time. I think it might be the most innovative piece of hip-hop work in the last decade. And you and I think, share that sentiment. And so I'm going to maintain that those 4 to 5 albums are ahead of this JID album. But it is close enough that I would not be surprised if at the end of the year, this album were to land in the top 5. It's definitely going to be a top 10 album. Because keep in mind, we still need to talk about this rock project, because I want to talk about the placement of it in this rock project. KD3 is still coming. And so when I'm telling you there's going to be a top 10 album, it's like...
I think in my gut, No Fear of Time is my album of the year. Like, it's hard for me to
I'm
say
gonna have
anything
the
negative.
Drink Champs chalk, Mike, because it's like we can't give it album of the year about certain things, but I want to too. Because even though Black Thought's lyrically better than they are, how about this? That shit is pushing the boundary. The more that I listen to all this other stuff, that's why they called it No Fear of Time, Mike. They knew they were pushing the boundary of what hip hop music could be and how timeless it was. I heard timeless hip hop when I heard No Fear of Time.
Yeah, I heard No Fear of Time. You know
I
what I
heard
mean?
No Fear of Time. They spoke to it on the Drink
They
Champs, and
did.
it's like, no, that's why we said it was album of the year. But Mike, this is the music business. You're in the business of disseminating the music to the masses of people. And if you have your reasons, and this is why I want to have the conversation. Oh, the rationale and the validity for why they're doing what they're doing is there.
I respect it.
I respect it. I love it. I have a higher respect for Yasin and Talib than I ever have in my life after watching the Drake Champs. It does not change the fact that this is the music business. You're in the business of selling this motherfucking product. You contrived your product. And so on some level, we need to address what you did potentially to harm your product by contriving your product. You can try to make it seem like you're not contriving your product with your rhetoric because you're intelligent, educated black men. There are other intelligent, educated black men that are going to have views that's going to be like, that's some bullshit, and you know it, and I know it. Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's some bullshit, you know what I mean? Is that
I
what
wish more people heard the album, man.
It's like, man, but that's what I'm saying is like, okay, so it's like, at what IQ level do you feed that dissemination of that bullshit to people? Because when you get to a certain IQ level, you cannot feed that bullshit, Mike. You feel what I'm saying? And that is my problem with them. It's like, oh, did you tell that to the sheep? Did you tell that to the wolves? Did you tell that to the woke? Because the sheep is going to buy it, the wolves is going to attack you, and the woke is going to do what I did, which is question your ass.
You know, I had some questions too about, because I disagree with,
and to end, you're going to get questioned, right? It's like, oh, is that the reason? Well, explain further, motherfucker.
Mad Max with the super chat says, "Weddy is the song that that is 4 minutes that was a hit." Let's see, let me get to the rest of these super chats, but let's start talking about Rock Marciano.
Let's get this Rocky out the way.